The home of the Berwick Bulldogs. This is W234BH Berwick at 94.7. WBWX W242CY Berwick at 96.3. W282CO Bloomsburg at 104.3. It's time for the Coach Bennett Show on. Mazda and Collision Center. First Columbia Bank and Trust. What Brothers Electric. Independence Ford. Preferred Portables. Mayo Funeral Home. Neighbor Fence Company. S.J. Kowalski. Reds Roofing. Nespoli Jewelers. ND Accounting. Mason Monogram. Eco First. Lehigh Valley Health Network. And Blaze Alexander Family Buick GMC of Bloomsburg.
Coming off their first win of the season, last Friday's 21-7 victory at Williamsport, the the team faded in the second half in losses to Valley View and Abington Heights. Not only did you not fade,
And I just think the effort was so much there. We prepared. We're trying to take care of some little things on the team that we needed some work on, and the kids played hard all the way through, and that's all I can ask.
Well, once again, your running game was very strong. Another career game for running back Tyler Winter. That's 2 in a row for him. Jimmy DeAndrea ran tough, but boy, the offensive front, J.J. Leonard, Liam Carroll, Gavin Jones, Matt Gordner, Chase Shuckers, they dominated, didn't they? Yeah,
they did. That was probably the strength coming into the season was our line, and there's still we got everybody but one guy coming back next year, and we're still a little young, and as well as I do, Jim, we played a good game and we got out of there with a win, but there were a lot of mistakes and there's a lot of things we can improve on, but I'm very happy with our line play.
In some respects, your running game looked like the old George Curry days. He used to have that player they called the big wing. Well, that would be Harrison Snyder and even Aiden George. They did a nice job.
Harrison's been playing really well, solid every game for us. We moved him down inside on a defense, and he's been playing on both sides of the ball. And he's one of our seniors and one of our top kids. And what more do you ask? We expect him. Harrison to do that. He expects himself to do that.
I know your passing game is still a work in progress, but 118 yards isn't bad. At least it let Williamsport know it wasn't going to be all run.
Yeah, well, like I said, when you're running the ball, I think first and foremost, most teams, and especially when it gets late in the season in the weather, you got to run the football. And we've been running it pretty good, but our passing game has to shape up a little bit. Ethan threw a couple high balls. He's working on his ball position. We have to do a better job as coaches pinning that end, getting him outside because he's an athlete, getting him out in the open if it isn't there, kind of getting him as a run threat. So we have to do a little bit better job.
Your team, no turnovers, just 3 penalties. That's winning football, isn't it?
That's very, very winning football. I said to these guys when we had our penalties last week, we lost our composure. And the last time we went down to Williamsport, it was kind of embarrassing for Burke. We had 2 guys thrown out. They had 1 or 2 guys thrown out. I was talking to their coach before the game and and after the game, and I said, well, it was a win-win on that part. It was a very clean game. I think those guys, he did a great job with his guys, and we did a good job with our guys. And to me, that's what it's all about. Someone has to win and someone has to lose. But fortunately, it was a good, hard game. Went down not correctly to the end, but they were in it the whole time.
The Bulldogs' defense was outstanding last Friday. Up next, we'll ask Bo about that performance. You're listening to the Coach Bennett Show on Pop Radio.
Drive your new GMC home today. New vehicles have been hard to come by. So at Alexander Family Buick GMC, we've been telling you to reserve your new GMC truck or SUV. But with 25 new GMCs in stock now and 25 more to arrive soon, you don't have to reserve one. You can drive one home today. And with the highest trade values, the lowest rates, and the Blaze Alexander lowest price guaranteed, now is the time to drive one off our lot. Shop online where we're always open. Alexander Family Buick GMC in Bloomsburg. Taking the deals the other guys won't.
Proud sponsor of Penn State Athletics.
Red's Roofing, the roofing ninjas of Berwick. The roofing experts for all of our listening area. With over 30 years experience and great rates, why go anywhere else when Red's Roofing will get the job done right for your roofing, decks, and siding, specializing in metal roofs, rubber roofs, and shingles. Most of the work is done in one day. Red's Roofing, the roofing ninjas. Now located in Dushore and also serving Bradford and Sullivan counties with owner Harry Titus, a supporter of the Berwick football team and St. Jude Children's Hospital. Call 570-752-4351.
The Mayo Funeral Homes, located at 110 Chestnut Street in Berwick and 77 Main Street in Chickashinny, are proud sponsors of Berwick Bulldog football. The Mayo Funeral Homes, serving all faiths, makes it easier for those you love with prearranged funeral counseling, insurance, and pre-financed funerals. Mayo Funeral Homes also offers expert guidance in both traditional and cremation services. Mayo Funeral Homes, perfection in every detail.
Save today on a great selection of the best appliance brands and discover top-notch service at Flick Brothers Electric in Bloomsburg. Browse their showroom, which features appliances in a variety of different kitchen configurations and offers appliances and water heaters for every budget. Flick Brothers showcases top names like GE and GE Monogram, Whirlpool, Frigidaire, KitchenAid, Maytag, Sharp, Amana, and built in the USA Speed Queen and Viking appliances. Flick Brothers Electric, Maple Lane, Bloomsburg for over 65 years. Call 570-784-3444.
You're listening to the Coach Bennett Show on Pop Radio with the voice of the Berwick Bulldogs, Jim Doyle.
Wolfpack Stadium in Plains is the venue for tonight's game as the Bulldogs take on the Wolfpack of Wilkes-Barre area. The Pack is 2-2 after a win at Hazleton area last Friday. Dogs coming off their first win, 21-7 at Williamsport. Boy, your team's defense was giving up over 40 points a game. 243 yards rushing a game through the first three. And last Friday, Williamsport against a talented offense, just 7 points. And they came all in their first possession of the game, just 31 yards rushing. I know you made some personnel changes. You also made some position changes. Looks like they paid off.
Yeah, and I think first and foremost, I think the effort of our guys, as we talked earlier, for 4 quarters, for the 48 minutes, really paid off. We still made some mistakes. We still have a long way to go. We have some young guys, but what they did is they made up for it in effort, and they made some plays chasing the quarterback down and doing some things. So I'm real happy with that, and we just got to keep continuing.
Well, you mentioned that quarterback. He is very good. Caleb Williams, he passed for 254 yards, but just a 50% completion rate. He had been 67% going in. What did you do well against him?
Well, we moved Billy Hansen over to corner. They had a real tough receiver. Number 3 was their top receiver, and he threw a couple outs and some short routes. But what I emphasized this week, we just can't have any big plays. We can't let anybody get over our head and get behind us. And they kept everybody in front and just kept going. You're never going to stop a really good thrower like that completely. You just got to slow him down. And in our case, I know he threw for some yards, but when you come out with a win, keep everything in front of you and create some stuff on offense. I mean, that's the name of the game.
Yeah, I thought you tackled well in the secondary. I mean, he completed some passes, but there wasn't a lot of yardage after the catch.
Not as much as there has been in the last couple of weeks, and we just got to keep emphasizing that in practice. And like I said, our guys are young, and it's one thing you just tell high school kids over and over and over again. Anybody that coaches high school knows that you have to repeat yourself several hundred times, and once in a while they get it. But like I said, that the effort made up for that. And I always give the scenario like, I point to my heart and said, tackling is right here. You either want to tackle or you don't. I don't ask any of these guys to take some of those big guys up high or crushing hits. I'm like, you grab around the leg and you squeeze like you know what. And when someone goes at their knees and squeezes, I mean, that's tough. That's tough to get away.
You really got after the quarterback, Caleb Williamson. He had 8 sacks in the game. Leading the way was Harrison Snyder. Now, you made a position change after he played the first 3 games. as a linebacker. He moved him back to the line, and I thought he was outstanding.
We think he's a better down guy than an outside guy, but, you want to play him both, and you never know where he's going to play in college. He wants to go on and play college ball, so we gave him a little thing of both. But for us right now, down on the line, he's a bear. He gets penetration. He chases after the quarterback. He holds that end down for us. We got some young guys playing outside linebacker. He helps those guys tremendously. So he's through and through just been a big improvement for us.
Well, we've talked offense. We've talked defense. I thought your special teams were outstanding as well. Billy Hansen blocked a field goal attempt. Harrison Snyder, who we just talked about, had a big hit on Caleb Williamson on a fake punt. Luke Peters' kicking was very good. You got it all together.
Yeah, fortunately everything fell into place, and it's great for a win. And I told those guys have a great weekend. We came in, we joked around a little bit on the film, and I said, but there's room for improvement. And I said that all goes away right now, and now we're on Wilkes-Barre, and it's going to be a little bit tougher challenge this week.
Well, later in tonight's show, we'll ask Bo about tonight's opponent, Wilkes-Barre area. But up next, it's the Bulldog Spotlight feature. You're listening to the Coach Bennett Show on Pop Radio.
Experience a drive that makes you feel more connected than ever before at a price you can afford at W&L Mazda.
Discover the luxury Mazda vehicles without the high price tags. Whether you're looking for technology and fuel efficiency for long commutes or the extra space for weekend getaways, head to W&L Mazda today for a test drive.
The W&L Mazda team will take the time to understand your drive and will match you with a perfect Mazda to accompany you on the way to success. We're off Route 11 in Northumberland, or visit us the last week of September at the Bloomsburg Fair, just off C Ave. Find us online at WNLMazda.com.
Mason's Monogramming has the largest selection of Bulldog items in Berwick. Family owned with more than 30 years experience and new Bulldog wear for every age, including masks, tees, polos, sweater shirts, jackets, and hats. They even have brand new indestructible silicone cups, koozies, car coasters, decals, and more. Shop at masonsmonogram.com for their new items and select in-person pickup or shipping right to you. Follow their Instagram at Mason's Monogram for their latest new items. Mason's Monogram service in Berwick. Let them personalize for you.
Looking for convenient and reliable dumpster rentals for your residential or commercial project? EcoFirst Logistics has you covered with dumpster rentals from Bloomsburg to Hazleton and surrounding areas. Their dumpster rental service is designed to make waste disposal easy, hassle-free, and eco-friendly. Whether you're planning a construction or renovation project, junk removal, or a major cleanup, they carry a range of dumpster sizes to fit your needs and ensure that what can be saved is sorted out. On the web at eco-firstlogistics.com or on Facebook.
As a community bank, First Columbia Bank and Trust knows the value of helping our young people dream, excel, and reach their goals. For more than 120 years, First Columbia has been committed to helping our communities prosper and our youth succeed. We're proud to invest in our youth through athletics, the arts, and education. First Columbia Bank and Trust, with you and your children every step of the way.
Every step of the way, First Columbia Bank.
You're listening to the Coach Bennett Show on Pop Radio with the voice of the Berwick Bulldogs, Jim Doyle.
High school football's regular season reaches the halfway mark tonight here at Wolfpack Stadium in Plains. Bulldogs preparing to take on Wilkes-Barre area. We'll talk about the Pack in our next segment, but now it's time for our weekly feature, Bulldog Spotlight. Tonight the spotlight is on senior running back Tyler Winter. After a career-best 143 yards rushing against Abington Heights, Tyler topped that with 156 against Williamsport last Friday. He's really on a roll. But what makes him a good running back?
He's not very tall. He's wrestled for all his life. He's a strong kid. He's a tough kid, and he's hard to see sometimes. But he hits the holes very, very hard. And as you all know, in any level, them holes open up and close pretty quick. And his attribute is hitting that hole really quick and then finding the gap. He just kind of has that knack as a running back. Sometimes you don't teach that to kids. They just have that knack to cut and cut off and run behind our linemen. So all in all, that's probably the brightest start of our points so far.
How about tangibles for Tyler Winter? Speed, strength?
He's a lot faster than you think. He's really, really quick, and that's the thing. He's little and he's powerful, but people think that he's not fast, and you take a little bit different angle on him, and he can run. He's a little speedster for us.
How's he to deal with day to day as a practice player?
A delight. I mean, Tyler Hurley says anything anyway. You know what I mean? He's a very, very quiet kid. He's actually a twin. We used to have his brother playing for us. They're look almost identical, and like I said, he doesn't say a word, does everything we ask him to do, and he's a model bulldog, as we would say.
Some players burst on the scene, start to contribute right away, even as ninth graders, and others just keep plugging at it till they get their opportunity. And as a coach, that has to be the gratifying one, because we live in an age of instant gratification. Mm-hmm. And here you have a Tyler Winter really getting his chance for the first time as a senior and really coming through.
Well, I mean, I thought Tyler should have played a little bit last year, but we had so many, we had Bo Sheptak, we had Drayton Wilk, and we had Spencer. I mean, we had some key players last year. He tore it up in the JV games, though. He ran just like he did last night. That's how he would run in the JV games. So everybody kind of knew that played him in JVs last year that we have a little explosive running back. We didn't know he was going to be this good, but I had confidence in him, and I knew that we were going to be solid there, that we weren't going to miss too much from him.
In the Bulldog Spotlight, senior running back Tyler Winter. Tyler and his Bulldog teammates are on the road tonight to take on Wilkes-Barre area. Up next, Bo will tell us about the Wolfpack offense. You're listening to the Coach Bennett Show on Pop Radio.
Jim Doyle and the Berwick Bulldogs Coach Mike Bennett Show. Brought to you by Bob Subs, W&L Subaru, Nissan, Mazda, and Collision Center, First Columbia Bank and Trust, Wood Brothers Electric, Independence Ford, Preferred Portables, Mayo Funeral Home, Neighbor Fence Company, S.J. Kowalski, Reds Roofing, Nespoli Jewelers, ND Accounting, Mason Monogram, Eco First, Lehigh Valley Health Network, and Blaze Alexander Family Buick GMC of Bloomsburg. The Coach Bennett Show, only right here on Pop Radio.
The subs at Bob's Subs and Pizza in Berwick have so much meat in them, you'll be having leftovers for days. The Italian is piled high with fresh slices of ham, capicola, salami, and pepperoni on a freshly baked bun. Bob's cheesesteak oozes with cheesy goodness woven into a mountain of thinly sliced ribeye steak. So if you're tired of bland, unsatisfying subs, Bob's Subs and Pizza in Berwick is your new go-to. With over 22 different kinds of sumptuous, hearty subs, you'll find just the one or two to cure your cravings. And the pizza at Bob's Subs and Pizza, oh, it's so good. Bob's Subs and Pizza in Berwick. Taste the difference.
It won't be long before tax time rolls around, so remember to visit Michael Daddio CPA at ND Accounting and Consulting for your income tax needs. ND Accounting and Consulting handles both business and individual taxes, as well as offering a variety of accounting services, including payroll, auditing, and bookkeeping. For tax and accounting services, look for Michael Daddio CPA at ND Accounting and Consulting with two locations, 214 Pine Street in Berwick and 5929 Main Road in Sweet Valley.
Can I get a weight reading on the cat in exam 3?
Zuri needs a new vet tech after their current one literally moved to a farm.
Detailed checkup is waiting.
But finding an ideal replacement takes some training.
This is like herding cats.
Indeed can help them hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Schedule virtual interviews and talk to candidates right from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Okay, next time you're at the store, I dare you to not think about the unmistakable fresh, clean scent of Irish Spring. Yeah, you heard me. I want you to resist picturing a shower filled with those sensational Irish Spring suds. And if you succeed, well, you got what my gramps used to call resolutitude. Not a real word, but let's be honest, you're probably going to end up leaving with Irish Spring because of its irresistible scent and because you have zero resolutitude. Pick up Irish Spring at Walmart today.
You're listening to the Coach Bennett Show on Pop Radio with the voice of the Berwick Bulldogs, Jim Doyle.
Tonight marks the fourth meeting between Berwick and Wilkes-Barre area, the jointure of Coughlin, Myers, and GAR. Berwick won the first two, but the Wolfpack beat the Dogs 35-21 last season at Crispin Field. Wilkes-Barre area comes into tonight's game on a two-game winning streak. They're 2-2 after last Friday's 27-8 win at Hazelton area. Well, the Wolfpack trailed 8-7 at halftime last Friday, but they had a dominant running game, especially in the second half. They ended the game with 353 rushing yards. What makes them so tough in the running game?
They're big up front. I think last year the difference was we hung with them for a half and we were up on them for a half, and their line just became dominant in the second half, and they ran the ball on us and hit some long runs, and that's one thing that worries me this year. I mean, their line's big and they're very good.
Unfortunately for them, Mekhi Nelson, who led them in rushing against your team a year ago, decided to go to a prep school this year rather than play out his senior year, but they're still very, very good rushing. Led by a fullback type in Howie Shiner, 220 yards against Hazleton area. Tell us about him.
He's a big kid. He's 5'10", 225 pounds. And in high school, that's a very, very, that's sometimes lineman size in our league. But he's a punishing runner. He's big. And, I was just made aware this week that there's also a transfer from, I think, West Scranton that's coming. And I heard around the grapevine from other ADs that he's a pretty good running back. So I would assume we'd see him more this week.
Well, you also see Devon Underwood, a 5'8", 155-pounder, who also rushed for over 100 yards against Hazleton area. Seems like he's a different type running back, obviously, than Shiner.
Yeah, and it's just like playing Williamsport in the fact, I mean, they're always got athletes at Williamsport. Wilkes-Barre. Williamsport always has athletes, but I think this line's a little bit better than Williamsport, and so we have our work cut out for us this week.
You mentioned the size of the line. Now, they don't list their heights and weights on their roster, but I asked for estimates from their head coach, Ciro Cinti, when he talked to him, and it comes out to an average of 269 pounds a guy. This will be the biggest line you're going to face.
Absolutely. And like I said, last year, they second half, they dominated us. That was the difference of our game why we lost last year. So that's the one thing that worries me. A couple of the skilled guys do, but running the ball like that, like we have been, I mean, that's my concern, that not being able to stop the run.
When Ciro was coaching at Coughlin, it was strictly a running game. It's not anymore because of Jake Howe. He's a sophomore quarterback, good-sized kid. As a ninth grader last year, he came into Crispin Field. The lights weren't too bright for him. He was 11 for 14, 196 yards and a touchdown. He's thrown 96 passes already. Going back to Ciro's Coughlin days, that would be a season full. So he's pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely. He's very good. And being a sophomore, playing as a freshman, being a sophomore, I think that's, not only for this year, but for years to come. That always worries me when someone's a good player as a freshman and they got 3 more years to go. So he's been playing really well, and they've been playing really solid. I think, before those two guys went up to the prep school, they had another defensive end and D lineman that went up to the prep school. Before those guys transferred, I mean, they were picked to be the team to beat in the Wyoming Valley Conference. So even though they got that, they get another running back this week. They're still a force to be reckoned with.
Well, up next, Bo will evaluate the Wolfpack defense. You're listening to the Coach Bennett Show on Pop Radio.
Sunbury Motors Ford in the North 4th Street Auto Plaza must sell 50 new Fords in just 10 days. Here's how they're going to accomplish this lofty goal. Choose from 160 new Fords with savings up to $8,478 and financing as low as 0%. Pick from 18 of the fuel-efficient Ford Escapes, and SMC has them as low as $29,995. Sunbury Motors is taking $4,000 off the hot-selling Ford Bronco Sports, and they start at just $30,740. SMC is taking $5,000 off 2023 Ford Edges and Explorers during this massive sale. Choose from the area's largest selection of new Ford F-150s, and Sunbury Motors is knocking off over $8,000. Breaking news: 5 brand new full-size Ford Broncos have just arrived on the lot and are ready for immediate delivery. Sunbury Motors in North 4th Street Auto Plaza, proudly owned by the Mertz family for over a century.
Hi, this is Jonathan from Nespoli Jewelers in Berwick. We are happy to announce that once again we will have the Nespoli Jewelers Athlete of the Week throughout this football season. Each week, the Berwick coaches will choose an athlete who worked hard, was a good teammate, and put forth his best effort all week. We will announce this student athlete on this station prior to the Berwick football game, and we will be honoring him by donating $100 in his name to the charity of his choice. For more information on the chosen Nespoli Athlete of the Week, please visit us on our Instagram and Facebook pages.
What does a food truck chef in L.A.
Order up.
a hip-hop producer from St. Louis.
Check, 1, 2.
And the king of the pickup courts in Philly have in common? They share the same grit, resilience, and passion for what they do. Because the people who share the same spirit share the same beer. Budweiser. This Bud's for you. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Budweiser Lager Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
You're listening to the Coach Bennett Show on Pop Radio with the voice of the Berwick Bulldogs, Jim Doyle.
A matchup of two teams coming off impressive wins last Friday. The Bulldogs take on Wilkes-Barre area tonight here at Wolfpack Stadium in Plains. Berwick won at Williamsport 21-7. The Pack had a big second half in a 27-8 win at Hazelton area. Bo, after giving up 35 points to both Scranton and Abington Heights, Wolfpack defense has been very stingy the last couple of weeks. They gave up only 10 points to Wallenpaupack, only 8 to Hazelton area in back-to-back wins. What do you consider the strength of their team on defense?
They run to the ball. I mean, that's one thing, that we did a little bit better this week. Is that things are going to happen, plays are going to break, but it's the pursuit of everybody, coming to the ball and making that ball carrier, doing a little stutter and come back. So they run to the ball very well. So we don't have a lot of time to, throw a lot of, little short passes and this and that. So we're going to have to try to figure something out to get that.
Well, you mentioned running the ball. When I talked to Ciro Cinti at the preseason gathering of Wyoming Valley Conference coaches, I asked him about his defense, what the strength would be. He said their quickness.
Yeah,
they've got size, but they can run to the football.
Absolutely. I mean, like I said, they just got athletes. I mean, you just don't teach that. You either got them or you don't, and they have a bunch of them.
Big front four, 280, 288, 310, 225. How challenging will it be to run against that kind of size?
Very challenging. Like I said, they dominated us last year, and like I said, our guys were really young last year. We started 2 freshmen last year, but it's going to be it's the challenge that I put forth on these guys. I mean, every game's I said to these guys going down and play Williamsport, we got a nice win, but I said, every week, it's a challenge for us. I mean, there's no breaks in our schedule.
They list a 4-4 as their base defense. Will you see anything different out of them?
They run a little bit off of 4-4. It's like anything else. I mean, we run, a 3-5, and we'll bring 2 guys down to look like a 5 front. They move guys around to make it look like different fronts. And I'm sure if we come out with spread, I mean, they're going to have to, they just move their linebackers out, their 4-4 guys out.
How aggressive are they? Will we see any blitz out of those 4 linebackers?
They run a little bit of blitzes, not a ton, but they, like I said, they just run to the ball. They do the technique and the little things right and run into the ball.
So sum up the keys for your offense, what we have to do well considering the personnel and the schemes that we've just talked about from Wilkes-Barre area.
Well, we have to continue to run the ball, obviously, and that's a big key. But we got to put Ethan in a little bit better situations for throwing the ball, and we got to throw the ball a little better. He threw a lot of passes that were high, a lot of short passes. So we have to clean that up, and I think you're gonna have to be able to throw. I mean, they're so big up front, it's not going to be hard just to run up the middle and run off tackle on them.
Hey, thanks again. That was fun last Friday. Let's keep it going.
Yeah, it's nice when you win, Jim. I just hope we can keep having these good conversations and all that. But great talking to you.
Well, listen again next Friday for another edition of the Coach Bennett Show prior to the game against Wyoming Valley West at Crispin Field. Stay tuned now for Berwick at Wilkes-Barre area football here on Pop Radio.
You've been listening to the Coach Bennett Show. Brought to you by Blaze Alexander Family Buick GMC of Bloomsburg, Lehigh Valley Health Network, Eco First, Mason Monogram, ND Accounting, Nespoli Jewelers, Reds Roofing, SJ Kowalski, Neighbor Fence Company, Mayo Funeral Home, Bob's Subs, Preferred Portables, Independence Ford, Flick Brothers Electric, First Columbia Bank and Trust, and W&L Subaru, Nissan, Mazda, and Collision Center. Stay tuned for Berwick football on Pop Radio and streaming all over the world at thisispoparadio.com.